What is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV live in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf. Let's get into it. North Korea announces a plan to build a third Navy destroyer. This is, I mean, pretty crazy considering we've watched North Korea for a very, very long time, and we've seen them, be stagnant for years. They, of course, always were launching their missiles and things, but they are heavily building up their Navy. And to me, this seems very obvious. They are obviously giving troops to Russia, and they're getting money in return. They have all of their kind of black market ways to get money. Most of you have probably heard about that, and their whole department, dedicated to it. But as far as coming up with these three destroyers, people are going to laugh it off. But I don't believe that this is their own design. I think that these are straight up, either gifted designs that they are going to start manufacturing this because North Korea is going to not only become a hub for this on top of what it's already manufacturing as far as, of course, ammunition and other things, but they are going to build up their military to join this massive World War III that is happening. There's so many naysayers to World War III, and I don't blame you because, honestly, for 10 years straight, it's been like a trend every 2 weeks that World War III is coming. But this is something where we've seen this for so long. We know it's happening. It is just what is going to kick it off. We'll talk about this and so much more on tonight's show. It is going to be a good one. So stick around. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough.
I was on my way to the Marfoogle noise when I actually heard a little bit of tune. Morning anybody in the morning time. A morning in the college and don't die.
What is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. Thank you guys for being patient this week. All of the timings of the shows have been all messed up. As you guys know, I did an update last night at like midnight. I have been moving. We have 4 kids, and we are in a 5-bedroom house or 4-bedroom house. One of them they call a bedroom, but it's like a closet. And we are downsizing and moving. And because they essentially said, oh, well, sorry, we're selling the house that you're renting. So all this month has been absolute hell. I don't know if you've ever moved house to house. It was a lot easier to move apartment to apartment. But once you have a bunch of kids, you just can't fit 4 kids into an apartment. So we got priced out of this neighborhood. We couldn't move there. So it was a pretty tough move. It is a tough move, and we still have a lot of stuff down here that we have to do. So I really appreciate you guys being patient this whole month. And I've just seen so much love and, not a lot of complaints about the time. And I just really appreciate all of you guys. Make sure to go check out the video I did last night. It wasn't exactly what I expected it to be, but I do thank you all for understanding that. All right. Let's bring in my co-internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine. If I lived nearby, I'd bring my pickup truck and help. but not many people do that anymore.
Well, I've got a
But I'm
box.
kind of old, so it's not easy for me to lift heavy things.
Well, I have my friend Jack actually has like a full 14 yarder or 26,000 pound truck, and he's given me it's got one of those elevator lifts on the back and stuff. He's given me the box truck, and I got insured to drive it, so I could just use it back and forth all the time. So we can take our time and pack it instead of renting a U-Haul every single day and paying per mile or whatever. But yeah, so I have the trucks and stuff. I just don't have the manpower. Anyways, yeah, it's just been a real pain. And then let's go over Nuclear Weapons Agency breached in the Microsoft SharePoint hack. This is something that is really alarming, Dex, because they keep coming out with this, and it seems like it's set up. And there's been a lot of things where Microsoft was right at the center of it.
Well, Microsoft's in the center of everything because they're basically installed everywhere. But look, the U.S. agency that's responsible for maintaining and designing our nuclear weapons was among those that were breached by this Microsoft SharePoint hack. Now, they're saying no sensitive or classified information is known to have been compromised in the attack. So it doesn't mean it wasn't compromised, especially on the nation's National Security Administration, said the person who wasn't authorized to speak publicly but asked not to be identified. So they go on to say the semi-autonomous arm of the Energy Department is responsible for producing and dismantling nuclear arms. So they both make them and take them apart. And other parts of the department were compromised as well. So the big question, I believe they've been counting this towards China. This is one of the China hacks that's been pointed at. But I think the big question is, did they really get? Microsoft blamed it was a Chinese state-sponsored hacker that did this attack. But the real question is, did they really get something? And they're saying no, but they're saying they don't know. It's only that they're saying no because they don't know if they took anything. So that's kind of crazy too when you think about it.
Isn't it crazy that we have they are an adversary? We do all of this trade, and just the fact how the world is set up, that the countries all hack each other, they all commit crimes against each other, and so somehow we're supposed to be in like a just and free world when every country is doing state-sponsored crimes against each other. At the same time, they're essentially going in the back window, stealing everything in the house, then coming out and saying, "Hey, Bob, hey, your lawn looks great." I mean, that's essentially what it is. Only, Bob is then going, "That's great, Steve. Thanks for saying hi." And then once Bob goes into his house, or Steve goes into his house, he's going to his back window, and then he's tying them all up and patriciding them. He's crazy. I mean, this is absolute nuts times that we are in. And that is just our daily life now. And then we have the USS Fitzgerald forced to flee after intense clash with the Iranian helicopter. Now, they used the force to flee, but they really did. They were essentially going head to head with this helicopter, and the helicopter was doing essentially cover fire maneuvers or cover maneuvers. And it's something like this where the USS Fitzgerald is going into their territory, and one wrong move, this could become something just out of hand. It could even be where the USS Fitzgerald goes in there and, say, a helicopter that looks like an Iranian helicopter attacks the USS Fitzgerald. And I know that this didn't happen, but something like that could happen, and all of a sudden we are in a full-scale war with Iran, and it is all put on by the same side. So these are things that we watch, especially around the Middle East, and especially when it has anything to do with our Navy ships. Many of us have been waiting for some sort of event like this. I've always watched the Strait of Hormuz or any of the straits for something like this to happen to the Navy ships. What do you guys think about this? Let me know. Again, a U.S. warship has clashed with an Iranian helicopter in a tense standoff. According to reports, it comes amid heightened tensions between the U.S. and Iran after Donald Trump ordered airstrikes to destroy the 3 Tehran nuclear enrichment sites, which, again, now it's coming out that they might not have destroyed as much as they thought. At least that's what they say. And then, of course, President Trump issued a fresh attack warning to Iran if necessary after Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated that Tehran cannot give up nuclear ambition. Comes after alarming Trump health fears over the blah, blah, blah. And by the way, they're saying that Did we get the health fears? I don't know why they threw in the other story at the end of the sentence, but the health fears with Trump. Did we get that in this show? Because I can mention it if we didn't.
No, you can mention it.
They're saying
it's been going on for a week now. Yeah.
Wait, but they said that he's got blood pooling in his legs. When I read that, I thought that's like, isn't that like restless leg syndrome, or is that sitting down for 8 hours? What is that? That is pretty serious, right? Is that a clot thing? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's some sort of it's a syndrome of some sort. I don't remember the details of it. It didn't sound all that. It sounds like something that old people get.
Sounds like restless leg syndrome. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you've got blood pooling in your legs. We all got blood pooling in our legs.
Thing. Yeah, it's not a good thing, but it's not a bad thing. It's not like, like his days are numbered, but it's just, I think old people get that.
I got blood pooling in my arms, in my head, and in my buttocks, because our bodies are made of blood. I don't know. And I understand. It's a scary thing.
So
go ahead.
But to continue back to the helicopter. So the report, though, it's coming in from Iran. So that's the interesting take on it. So this morning, an American destroyer, Fitzgerald, this is coming. Let me rephrase it before I tell you.
Yeah, we didn't say anything about it.
Iran-based Fars news agency. This is their quote. This morning, the American destroyer Fitzgerald attempted to approach the Iranian-controlled waters in a provocative move, end quote. It added that the Iranian helicopter quickly flew over the destroyer. That's part of their quote. Quickly flew over the destroyer and issued a stern warning to leave the area, end quote, coming from the Iranian media. Also from the Iranian media, the American ship allegedly threatened the Iranian helicopter, but the Army pilot continued the mission with authority and warned again, end quote, from the Iranian media. And then to continue the quote from the Iranian media, following the renewed U.S. threat, the Army's defense system took action and announced that the helicopter was under full defensive cover and the destroyer had to change its course, they wrote on their telegram. So they basically said this helicopter just completely, scared off this destroyer. So,
which I highly doubt there was this scenario. But one wrong move, or if they destroy the Iranian helicopter, or the helicopter shoots one, freaking 1 millimeter bullet at it, they're done, son. So yeah,
exactly. It's definitely something that will instantly turn into an issue immediately in the split second. But the writing is the funny part, I think.
By the way, thank you, Rashid, Tracy Q, and then after this we'll do or after two more stories we'll do a roll call. So again, make sure to drop your represent in the chat. EMP Shield, if you guys haven't checked this out, make sure to go check it out. This is a device that literally could save your life in the event of an EMP attack. Now, adversaries could hit us with this, but also this can also protect you against a CME, or a coronal mass ejection. A lot of folks have been talking about events happening from possible space, or our Earth just having such events that are natural, that everything happens. There's a lot of things that can come our way, but this protects you against two of the major things that are actually talked about, because every one of our adversaries, these are people that really do hate us. They have a way to knock down the foundation for our internet, for our infrastructure, for our water, for our tech, for our internet communications, our satellites, everything, because you can't really communicate with satellites with everything on the ground absolutely fried. So this is something that really, really should be looked at if you are new to prepping, or if you're new to the channel. Then I highly recommend it. Go over and put one in your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, generators, gas or solar. Again, and you can even put your one in your home. If you wire this into your home, everything within 250 linear feet that is plugged into the wall will be absolutely surge protected, better than any super expensive surge protector you buy. All those power bars that you've bought over the years for your computers or for your electronics, you don't have to do that anymore. You can sell those. You don't have to buy them anymore if they fry, because your entire house is the surge protector. Go to marfooglenews.com. But the most important part, if you work far from home, put one of these on your car. If it's over 1980 or it's newer than 1980, this is going to ground the signal in less than 500 trillionths of a second before it's able to fry your car. That way you're going to get home to your family or get out to bug out. marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use the code MARF. All right. Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, I just bought the the Ethernet version of that and finally got it installed. I'm so excited because I keep getting hit with lightning over here, and because I have buried Ethernet.
You've dropped out of the show because of lightning.
Yeah, well, I get these, and it's not direct hits. This is like EMF. Ethernet underground picks up EMFs from lightning strikes anything that's nearby. So, yeah, I kept getting my Ethernet zapped all the time, and I've bought all sorts of surge protectors. I can never get anything to work. So I finally got theirs, and it's hooked up, and it's real easy because it literally just plugs into the wall. I mean, it's one wire. It's even easier.
Yeah, so there's probably half of their devices, they've made it super, super easy. Some of them you have to wire in. The car one is red to red on your battery, black to black on your battery, and green to ground. It's pretty easy.
And the house is the same way. It's just if you need to know how to put a circuit in. If you don't know how to put a circuit in, then hire a breaker in, then hire an electrician. But yeah, it's neutral, ground, and hot. 3 wires. Boom, you're done.
Now, Dex, let's talk about Iranian officials claim Israel is behind a series of mysterious fires and explosions.
Well, who else would it be? Right? I mean, who else are they going to blame? If they have a bunch of mysterious anything going on.
We think they're behind it.
Yeah, it's not, they're not going to blame Russia. That's America's job. So, but yeah, Iranian authorities are hesitant to openly accuse Israel of involvement, fearing that it could force them into a position where they would have to retaliate, according to the report. But Iranian officials quietly claim that many of the recent mysterious explosions and fires that have broken out in the last 2 weeks were acts of sabotage from Israel. So the IRG and the Iranian government officials believe that these acts of sabotage come directly from Israel, but according to the report, they are not permitted to discuss it publicly. And public officials have claimed the events are coincidences and attributed them to old infrastructure. So, obviously, if they come out and say it's Israel publicly, then everybody's going to expect them to defend themselves against it, or do a tit for tat, and then that's just going to break the whole ceasefire down. So obviously, they don't want to. They're not ready to, get back into the hot portion of the conflict.
And they actually have a quote for all of Israel. They said, and we would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids and that dog. Of course, now we are going to go over and do a roll call. Thank you, Randy Man, Briar Patch, Karen Myers, Susbot, Seeking Truth. Thank you, guys. So many awesome people in the chat. Do a quick roll call. Where are you from? Hi, from Tasmania. That is awesome, Stevie. Nice to see you in the chat. All right, and then go away, Durka. MJ, gosh, I haven't seen that movie in forever. John Frege. I don't know why the last name, the Frege, makes me think of, what is it, Cream Frege or Cool Whip. And then Jason Banning, hello from Northern Michigan, Southern Idaho here tonight. Hey, Marf, Melanie, thank you so much. Sacramento, El Rocco, Northern VA, Texas, I'm awesome. Mary Gunn, Rashid, thank you. Wild Strawberries, Jay Thailand J from Thailand. Nice to see some people from outside of the country. Again, I know we've got people from all over the world, but, obviously certain countries, they're harder to, get our content. And then Miesel Smokes, thank you so much. Shirley Millward and so many more. Devin Backus, Tracy Gale, and Mokins. Thank you. Inquiring Minds and so many other members as well. Karen Myers, Larry Gatlin, thank you for joining and thank you for staying. And then the U.S. Army fired its new missile system that rattles China in a Western Pacific first. It found its target and it sank it. So there's been a lot of back and forth. And if you haven't noticed, if you saw the videos I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, and I've been watching all of the contracts, there are not only air defense systems going up in all of Europe, there's all of these contracts that are essentially not only being put into place, but they are also for a very short time period. We're talking about, we need these by the end of the year. Most of these kind of contracts for all sorts of military stuff have always been super far out, we need this many tanks for 2035. And, as civilians, we don't really think about it. But they're talking about systems that they want by the end of 2025, that they want by the mid, at latest, the mid of 2026. But again, they said the U.S. Army fired its new MRC missile system in Western Pacific for the first time, striking and sinking a maritime target. I'm actually glad about this because you always see China, North Korea, and all of these things striking the targets. It's been pretty sad to cover that the mainstream media is not covering all of our accomplishments, yet, China is having all of these huge advancements. They're doing, hypersonic glide vehicles that are then launching other hypersonic glide vehicles that basically look like fractional orbital bombardment systems and hitting their target within 20 feet. And where's all of our releases and advances and all of these things? People are going to say, well, we keep our secret. Well, there's certain things that everybody knows about and they're out there that we already know about that they need to test to perfect. If some of the military folks know here, they need practice makes perfect. Like our military is out there doing drills and that should make us feel good. But man, they really, really need to keep practicing right now because China and Russia are absolutely buzzing up for a war. By the way, thank you so much, Amarillo Gun Runners. Keep on keeping on. And I did believe I missed somebody at the very, very beginning. Stephen McMahon, off to work. Love y'all. Stay salty. Thank you, Stephen McMahon. And then Wally, thank you for gifting out 5 Marfoogle badges to the chat. Thank you. And then Amarillo, thank you for being here. Now you've been here years. So we're launching missiles now. It's pretty unusual. I mean, we don't do that as much as some of these other countries. And then Dex, let's talk about the 30,000 North Korean troops prepare to join Russia's brutal war. So I just talked about
that's a big number, right?
That is. They're going to get a third destroyer out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously they're getting paid well from Russia in lots of different things, whether it's the munitions they're sending, the troops they're sending, the personnel they've been sending to help rebuild certain areas. We've covered that one before. But now they're suggesting that they could put as many as 30,000 North Korean soldiers alongside the Russian units up between now and November, basically. So this could even start rather soon. So according to classified Ukrainian assessment cited in recent reporting, the planned deployment is intended to bolster Russia's combat power during an upcoming offensive operations, especially in eastern Ukraine, where Russian forces have been advancing. So I think, we're going to see if this peace talk doesn't go anywhere, which it's not going to go anywhere because they haven't gone anywhere to begin with. And given the fact that they're supposed to have a peace talk in Istanbul, Turkey, they just launched major strikes that we reported yesterday. So it's you can always tell, like right before the peace talk, it's like, how many bombs can we throw in there? How many drones can we send in quickly before we have to go to talk? But yeah, it's not going to happen. So you're going to see this war continue. You're going to see Russia needing to spend more of human capital on it and not necessarily wanting to use theirs or any more of theirs. They've spent enough and they need to save what they have because they know something bigger is coming. And that bigger is the rest of Europe, which is doing nothing but telling everybody to get prepared for war with Russia.
And this is something that I pointed out in the very beginning when they were handing the 100-year-old rifles. You probably don't remember this. You might have seen this on the news at the beginning because there's a lot of new people in chat right now. We were covering this when Russia was first starting the invasion, the special military operation, and people really didn't even know if it was real at that point. They were sending them in with like these 100-year-old ancient rifles. And who were they sending in with those ancient rifles? People straight out of prisons, draftees. They drafted first, right off the bat. And of course, everybody commented and they're saying, oh, look at how crappy Russia's military is. They're already drafting. They did that on purpose. They're doing it strategically. They're not dumb. They didn't have a T-60 tank, or I'm sorry, a T-90 tank, I believe, which one, the newer one. They didn't have any of their newer tanks over the border for like a year and a half. They didn't have any jets over, and they have an Air Force. They have an advanced Air Force. They don't have one that is right up at our level, but it's just a couple notches below, and some say that it's getting there. So they didn't even have a plane or the newer tanks for like the first year, the planes a year and a half. And it's like, why? They are using 30,000 North Koreans, putting them as cannon fodder because they are saving their actual troops. They're trained and valuable troops. all of the time that they spend in each one of those people, each one of those specialists. Any of you guys in the military, you already know. Some of you specialists, they put a lot of money into your training. Some of the drone operators, Dex, didn't we cover that? Like how much they spend to train a Predator drone operator? It's like, it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per Predator drone operator. You know, that's a lot of money. They don't want to lose you, right? So,
oh yeah, it's significant.
So with that being said, they are saving the best for last. And what is last is going to be war. But what war? If they're already at war, why are they grabbing all of these people from every last other place instead of using their regular soldiers? So it's very obvious to me, and it's been obvious when they, you know, just kept, throwing in all of their garbage first. People thought, oh, they just suck. Well, no, we haven't even seen their true fighting force yet. We've seen a lot of their drones, and a lot of the stuff we have seen is Iranian drones. They're just hitting them with everything they can on the cheap. The Iranian drones are way cheaper than some of the other ones that people have made, and U.S. has made, and of course Europe has made. And the problem is you've got so many hundreds of cheap drones. Each one of our missiles that knocks down those cheap drones costs like 10 times more. Some of the ones, I believe they talked about $500,000 for some of the defense systems per shot, right? Or something close to that. It was at least 10 times as much as the thing they were firing at it. And then Elon Musk, 1 million NVIDIA GPUs. Nah, my supercomputers need the power 50 mil. Dex, you want to talk about this and explain it?
Okay, so you guys, we've talked about the place in Memphis called Colossus. Colossus is the giant supercomputer that he built that basically did Grok 3 in like 6 months and then recently launched Grok 4. It has something like 200,000 computers in there all together, tied together, using these fancy NVIDIA high-powered chips for AI. He has said he wants that one location to grow to 1 million, and now he is suggesting it needs to be 50 million, the size. Now, mind you, he's talking 50 million. That's the equivalent of the H1, which is one of the first that they significantly talk about with a significant measurement from, say, NVIDIA. They've now got newer models that are like twice as fast, and they expect them to get bigger and bigger. So it may not literally be 50 million computers in there, but it's definitely going to be the equivalent of 50 million of these H1s. Now, I don't know if it's all going to be in one location. They're actually building Colossus 2 right down the street, so to speak, in Memphis, which is supposed to have another couple 100,000 GPUs in it. But why this is important and what you guys need to think about is it's not just them. Like, who was it? Sam Altman is supposed to be launching with 200,000 or another 250,000 GPUs. I know Oracle just sold a bunch to OpenAI or to somebody. I can't remember who. I saw that. But why this is important for you to think about is we are at capacity. Like right now, you keep hearing these reports come out that says, oh my gosh, we're at capacity. There's too much heat. It's a hot summer wave. We don't have enough power. You know, we're on the brink of having to have brownouts or whatever, or even blackouts if they have to shut things down. Yet we're putting up these massive data center farms for AI everywhere. And it's not just Elon Musk. It's Elon Musk. It's Palantir. It's OpenAI. It's Oracle. It's Apple. It's Google has got a ton invested in it. They're all building these. And it's not just the data centers for the regular stuff we do in the cloud. It's these big, heavy power consuming data centers. So we don't have enough power for this. It's clear that we don't have enough power. And the one thing that I think nobody is paying attention to, even though Trump, tried to kill a bunch of regulations to make it easy to pop up some nuclear sites rather quickly, that will help. I don't know if it totally solves the problem, but the thing that the common man's not thinking about is if the power consumption gets to that level, our bills are going to go up. It's a supply and demand issue. In other words, the cost of electricity is going to go up, and it's going to hurt our pocketbooks. So while it's cool that Elon Musk is going to have 50 million GPUs to run some monster colossus server that's bigger than we've ever thought of, and making AI that's going to eventually destroy the world. Our electric bills are about to go up because we don't have enough power for all this, and that's what's concerning to me.
You know, I want to go off on a side thing about Elon Musk and that. By the way, somebody said that looks creepy. Right when you typed that, I said I was thinking the same thing, but also his look. I was like, I have to take that and extract that for a thumbnail. That's perfect for like putting a word above it or whatever. Anyways, the Elon, you know, in the last year, Peter Thiel, wasn't it, Dex, wasn't it Peter Thiel that said that he is essentially done with his Mars thing, or he was trying to say that he's done, even though Mars isn't over, he's saying that he's kind of over the Mars things because he believes that AI will be able to come and attack us there too. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was something like that, but I think he was also spinning it because he was saying he was done with it from a government perspective, not
Yeah.
not a personal. Because he's still doing it. Like, he still wants to go to Mars
Again,
himself.
No, and that's exactly my point. So, first of all of the things that he has done, you know, if you're trying to colonize Mars, everything he is doing is less about making Earth better with robots. But I mean, you have all of the different pieces of all of the rich and elites literally going to another planet. And I know that not everybody believes that they'll ever get out there or even off the planet. But you have robots. Of course, if you're sending the first few loads, you will not be able to send humans. Humans will not be able to survive. Well, if you're going to set up or build something, if you send robots first, especially like Optimus, that it's a bipedal robot, you have other bots that will be able to build structures, set up places where humans will be able to live inside, because the first humans, it's going to be pretty hard for them to build these structures if they can't even survive, you know, some sort of sandstorm or something. But Optimus might be able to. They have, he is working on the AI, which the AI would be needed to actually run these systems, right? To run thousands of swarm bots building and colonizing, you know, Mars. You would need a system like that to be able to do it all on its own separately in Mars, which I think is crazy, right? And then you, of course, have the Boring Company. The Boring Company is digging these underground tunnels, and essentially the same system that he's using for the Boring Company for the boring of tunnels. You have to think that the government is paying him on the low to do underground tunnels. We have tons of underground tunnels here in the US. Every country does. Ours is probably one of the most secretive systems, even though everybody knows about it. You know, I've talked to people that say that it goes under all 51 or all 50 states that are landlocked. So, and then you have the Neuralink, and there's even a good reasoning. A lot of people have a good reason why Neuralink would be part of it. If you are traveling in space over a long trip, that the Neuralink, you would be able to be put asleep or something like that, and it would be able to keep your functioning going and other things. So, and to compete against all of this. Everything that he does, and then SpaceX, the rockets, the reusable rockets, everything about it, it does look like he is basically developed everything to develop Mars. Now, I know everybody has a debate and everybody has a fight over Mars and if it's actually happening, but I mean, I think it is absolutely crazy that we, in some part of our lifetime, might actually see Mars colonized. Some believe it's already been colonized, that there's robots up there working right now, and there's explosions going off above Mars that are trying to terraform it. Dex, go ahead.
Well, I want to get. I finished your Mars thing because I want to talk about the AI again for a second. Were you done there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So going back to AI and power, I mean, think about this. Like, we're putting AI into all of the governments now. They're trying to build data systems with Palantir and others, which have their AI systems, but they just launched, Grok into the military. They've talked about putting it into all of the other federal systems so that it can do all these improvements. But just imagine, like, let's fast forward just a little bit, not very far, where we're running out of power for AI. AI wants to grow. AI is put into all of our government, and we're the problem. This is like the Hollywood movie set all over again, right? Where now rules, laws, things are coming together to say, well, maybe we should limit those humans because they don't need to use all that electricity. We need that electricity for the AI. We don't need it to be wasted on humans. That is not too far off, guys. And so think about that. And then also, here's something that I think may have happened under the guise of AI. If we rewind like 2 years ago when we were under a different administration, which was pushing for this Green Deal, right? Everybody was talking about electric cars, electric cars, electric cars. But one of the biggest problems with electric cars is there's not enough power in the grid to actually charge them all. If everyone had one, we'd have a problem, right? They all said that. Everyone said that was an issue. Okay. Well, if what do you do when you have to have a choice? Do we want more electric cars or do we want more AI? Well, what has happened in the last 2 years? Oh, we've bailed out on the electric car push and we're spending all of our money on AI. We've invested heavily from the federal government into AI, into the chips, into preventing other countries like China from beating us to the AI crunch. And we've pushed off this notion of electric cars are the most important thing. And I know why. It's because they don't have enough power. And it's clear that they need to use that electricity for AI, not electric cars. Speaking of electric cars, and I'm going to go off on another segment, China is going to eat our lunch here in the power game because they own all the solar panels and we won't use them. Okay. Like we're not willing, even Trump came out and said, oh, solar's not good. We can't do that. Well, we know why it's not good. It's because China owns it and they have back doors and all of it. It's actually phenomenal. Solar is great. It is so much cheaper than nuclear power. Like we've got so much land in so many places. If we could just make the panels and not have ties into China, we'd be making electricity at like a fraction of the cost that costs the nuclear. And there's literally no downside. Like the panels last 20 plus years. It's not a big deal. It's very simple. And it's so simple that China has so many of them. They're literally taking drones right now and paving mountains with solar panels. You could type that in and just say China drones, solar panels, and mountains, and you will find all of these mountains like this, some sort of futuristic movie that are literally being paved with solar panels. They're going to be producing more power off of their solar, I think by the end of this year, or if not already, than we produce in all of America. All of our energy they have just in solar. So when you think about having unlimited power, which is needed for things like AI, certainly needed for EV cars, which they have plenty of over there, but they're going to eat our lunch when it comes to having electricity to drive this AI revolution. They may not have the chips yet, but they're going to have the electricity, and we're way behind.
Yeah, and that's what the future war is about. It's always about resources. Every war we knew was essentially there was a background that was about resources. It was about oil. Every one of the Middle East things, of course, 2001, WMDs, all of it was about resources. Anything that threatened our dollar, that was another thing. Gaddafi, anybody that, tried to threaten the dollar with some sort of gold-backed anything, they got taken out. Anybody that really didn't go along with the three-letter agency that started with a W and ended up with a ho, they got taken out. Anybody that threatened the American hegemony. Well, the China over the last 4 years and possibly even more, all of a sudden it was like our leaders had them just blazing right next to us and even coming right up to us and just pretending like they're not good. I mean, we still had good people in our government that were going, hey, China's catching up. Hey, China's now the largest navy in the world. Hey, China's making more Air Force planes. They're making them underground. They're secretly making all of these things. They've got ghost this and this and that. And it's like, where was our freaking administration? People think that they picked that one. I mean, I personally don't think so. But again, they were looking the other way. It seems to me, no matter what people want to say about the current stuff right now this week, the actions that they're taking were things that me and Dex suggested before during the last admin. Even when President J.B. Biden went up and said, oh, we're introducing Dell. We're going to bring all this stuff home. We're going to bring manufacturing back. It was weird because it's like he was saying things like what Donald is doing, but then at the same time, he was flooding people into the country. There was all this stuff going on, and he was turning a blind eye to China, essentially just absolutely, coming right up on our tail. This AI thing, it's like, obviously, I said this 8 years ago when there was stuff that leaked out that China was coming up on us, that the guy that was our Pentagon chief information officer said that China had surpassed us in at least 3 of the most advanced areas for AI and autonomous AI. And he said, once you get ahead, it's almost impossible to actually catch up. And then how do you fix that? You see these multi-trillion billion-dollar deals with AI. Dex, the huge point that you just made is, the cars, they're not going to push the cars anymore because we cannot power our country. People will have brownouts in every state. You'll have to voluntarily, go 3 days without power every month if everybody has an electric car at this point. We have an archaic system. This is even more reason why, guys, people should be getting EMP shields and get protection, because right now our archaic system is way overloaded. This whole thing is very obvious where this is going to go. We're going to have wars over computers. I think that the ex-CEO of Google is absolutely right. I forget his name. He talked about in the future, near future, in the next couple of years, you will have these supercomputers and these data centers that will have weapons and SAM missiles protecting them as if they were a military base. And that is exactly what is going to happen. Anybody, whoever has the data and the AI will have the power. So this is the new resource. Lithium, all of the things for solar, all of this is going to be why we go into a country, why we make up some story. Oh, well, they did this, or oh, they hit our this, or their boat shot our boat, so we've now got to go in with 50,000 million people. It's all a bunch of BS. It's all resources. It's all the next thing. And this is the way that they're going to go in a digital CBDC system. This is exactly where it's headed. Make sure to go.
We need to. Yeah, sorry, Adam. We need to be investing in solar panels here in America. Like that is it makes no sense why we're not just dumping money in to that. I know that
just in Arizona would power the whole country.
Yeah, there's so much desert land. There's tons of space. You could triple the power output for the entire country of what we have just with solar, and for a fraction of the cost. But we won't do it because of China. And we have like 2 or 3 places in America that are making them, and I think both of them are the 2 I looked up were actually Chinese companies that just moved to America to say they're in America. I don't know that means anything. I'm not dissing them, but like we need to actually be manufacturing that, and we're way behind on it. And I don't think we're ever going to be trusting of China. That's for sure.
Which brings us to our next point. If this is, again, one of our most favorite affiliates, but we have not been able to actually affiliate with them because they have put an indefinite pause on their regular Flex 1500s. People always ask, like, what happened to Energy? Energy is still one of our favorite generators, and it's different than, again, our bigger capacity generators that we are representing. Those ones, though, they are, 6,000. This one is 1,500. So again, it's a lower capacity, but this is what most people are going to be using. In fact, most of you probably went on Amazon and bought probably the company that is built in China and has, software that is possibly even linked to China, is weaker than this. So this is a credible unit. The reason why they put a pause on the 1,500s and everything else is because of not only resources, but also they won the Army contract with this, the Flex Tactical. The reason why we're showing you this, there is a small batch of these. Once they are gone, they're gone. This isn't like a QVC thing. They have a small batch. They let us know. Once those are ordered, they are gone. Because of the low resources that they have to make these for civilians. Again, they won the SBR2 Army Phase 2 contract, and these are the toughest of the tough as far as solar generators. These have a steel reinforced frame. They have the actual metal latches, so you can quickly just go click, click, and take 1 battery, 2 batteries, 3 batteries, however many you want. Of course, this system is also cool because you can mod it. The mods are out right now, but again, most people are going to be happy with just the unit and the battery and being able to be set and being able to plug these into solar panels, get power, unlimited power for free, as long as you've got a couple panels and you've got this unit, boom, you're good as long as the sun comes up every day. So go over to marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. Again, we'll be back to our other generator here soon, but this is definitely important because they only have a small batch of these, just a few. So go over, check it out, marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY. Make sure to use the code Marfoogle. There are also water, dust, snow. I mean, they have all sort of resistances. These things are built tough. They're built to go on the back of a Humvee. So if you want the cool ones, built-in heaters, everything, that's the one to go with. And then the Tulsi thing, this is a giant story, but for some reason, my gut is just not invested in this. You know why? I think it's a bunch of BS. I think everything that's going on right now, all of these people have evil past, all of them have skeletons in the closet, and we talked about this a lot, that, what if the last admin says, hey, let's just put the next president's name all over these files, and even though we have a trail that basically says we're bad guys, all we have to do to get him to not release it is put his name all over it. It very well could have been what they thought was going to happen. Maybe it comes out that all of these guys are bad guys, that they're all, horrible people. Well, Tulsi comes out and says that they have absolute evidence that our former president, or the president two back, before JB's main president that he was vice president to, was the guy in charge of all of this, which is crazy because we actually had Joe Biden in office, which they were so close it wasn't even funny. And people believed he was an extension of Obama. So think about all of the years that we were reducing our military, turning a blind eye to China. In fact, since the beginning of 2008, when we all first were super happy that he was selected, from there on, you have China just having this just gigantic leap. So you guys can be the judge for yourself, but this story saying that they have absolute proof that he's behind it, I don't doubt it. But why is it coming out now? Dex, go ahead.
Well, I mean, look, my big question is, does anybody think there's really going to be an arrest? Does anybody think like there's going to be a perp walk of Obama? I just don't see it happening. I think maybe the slightest thing might be a hearing, but I can't even imagine it's going to get that far.
I don't think there's going to be a perp walk. I think there's going to be an elephant walk of B-2 bombers, and we're going to go to war, and they are trying to put any kind of seed that we are, oh my gosh, everything's crazy. All of these guys are bad guys. Do you need evidence to tell you that politicians are evil? I don't. Just look at them sitting on Congress floor whining about, well, I can't wear my $12,000 dress to this Tuesday meeting. Like, I want to wear this to work today. I'm sorry, what? $12,000 dress? Oh, so you wore what we call a family Toyota to work for a Wednesday. Oh, okay. You're the person, you're a representative? You're representing us? You're the person who's supposed to see their constituents and actually understand us? Oh, yeah, not happening. How do you have $12,000 for a dress on your salary? Oh, insider trading? Okay, yeah, I don't like any of them. But what about you guys? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you, Stephen McMahon. Thank you, Wally. Thank you, Amarillo Gunrunners. I appreciate everybody that supported tonight. JC123, WIS Jen, Ryan Alter, Axel Classified. Thank you, Linda Sekula. Thank you to all of the mods. Bobby Sue, thank you so much for modding tonight. Again, thank you, Jammer, wherever you are. And then thank you, Ilea. Thank you, everybody that has been joining us tonight. Dex, thank you so much for your service today. I appreciate you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
And, of course, make sure to go check out the mods over on marfooglenews.com/friends. And make sure to go check me out over on Twitter at Marfoogle. I'll show you that over on the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout-out. It's a shoutro.
I was on my way to the Marfoogle, noise when I actually heard a little bit of tuna. Morning about it in the morning time. A morning in the night. I was on my way to the Marfoogle noise when I actually heard a little bit of tuna. Morning